for our audience.
A very good morning. So here we are back with season 2, and this is the first episode. And today we have the man himself. We're shooting with Major General Nilendra Kumar. Just for a brief background, though the man needs no introduction. Major General Nilendra Kumar was the Judge Advocate General of Indian Army from September 2001 to November 2009, and uh, he's presently also the director at Amity Law School, Noida. Born in Lucknow on 2nd November 1949, obviously, sir is a product of the National Defense Academy and Indian Military Academy, and he was commissioned in the Regiment of Artillery in 1969, and was also one of the people who was a part in the 1971 war. Especially in the western sector, there is a lot that is there with respect to his introduction. We'll put it obviously in the chat down there below, but some of his phenomenal works include presenting papers at the law seminars, lectures at Geneva, Bangkok, Newport, and it's been one hell of a journey, sir. And sir was, by the way, also awarded the Vishisht Seva Medal in January 2004, if I got the pronunciation right, and the Ati Vishisht Seva Medal in January 2005 for rendering distinguished services of a high order. Sir, it's a pleasure to have you on board. I hope I've been audible.
Thanks.
I've been
Yes, you are
audible.
audible.
Yeah.
At the outset, I'd just like to clarify one bit.
Yeah.
I am no more director at the MIT Law
Okay.
School. I was there from 2009 to
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Now I am executive president of Indian Society of International Law and also running a charitable company under Section 8 of the Companies Act by the name Lex Consilium Foundation. That's it. All
Absolutely.
yours.
Absolutely.
Nishant.
No, we're going to absolutely talk about that also, by the way. And I can see that some of it in your background is already there. So that's a that's a
Yes.
good point of marketing in itself. And we are going to
Yes.
share a lot about what sir is doing currently right now. Probably the interview will be focused more around these areas. But before we delve into this, sir, how's the journey been? You know, it's from the
Uh,
wars to witnessing what you're doing today in the legal education and the it's just been like I said, one hell of a journey. How's
I must first thank Nishant for giving me this opportunity to speak to the fabulous crowd of OP Jindal University and others who may be there. Now, I've had a great journey. God has been very kind. 3 years at NDA Khadakwasla, followed by a year at Indian Military Academy, commissioned in Regiment of Artillery. We call ourselves gunners. And shortly thereafter, within 2 years, was 71 war, in which Nishank has already said I was on Western against Pakistan. And I got to serve at different locations in an Indian Army for next 12 years. And it was that period when I had acquired my degree and law degree. And then sometimes in 1982, I was seconded to the Judge Advocate General's Department. It so happened that I was the first officer with the NDA background to get into the legal department. Legal is the smallest setup of Indian Army, and that's why it is the only one which is called a department. It's not called a regiment or a corps. Then from 82, for next 26 years, I served as a military lawyer at doing the trial work, that is the court-martial work primarily. Apart from that, rendering legal advice, that is called opinion work. I was also handling litigation before various high courts, which is done by the legal cells. And during all this, whenever I got an opportunity to take classes to disseminate military law, human rights provisions, I fully utilized that opportunity. Finally, I was selected to head the department, which is the post, the chair of Judge Advocate General. He is the legal advisor to the Chief of Army Staff. And I was in that chair for about 7.5 years. Fortunate, and retired finally in 2008, November. After that, soon I was requested, invited by the Amity University, Noida, to head their law school, where I had about 1,600 students. When I joined, there was only 5-year law stream solely. Very soon, we had 3 years law degree followed with LLM in 6 different streams, and about 4 dozen PhD scholars. I had 65 full-time faculty. And that gave me a good opportunity, insight into the state of legal education and the administration of legal academic in India.
Absolutely.
While there in the law school, I'd like to tell you that I used to teach interpretation of statutes, law, poverty and development, professional ethics, and also media laws for the MBA students of mass communication. That was something great. I loved my students, still do. And thereafter, during all this time, I have been into writing books. A number of them have seen multiple editions. And then I am a member of the Indian Society of International Law. Presently, I am elected as their executive president. I am also in the board of directors of International Society of Military Law and Law of War. That's a body based at Belgium. It is accredited by the United Nations. And then about 2 years back, I have gone into YouTubing. And I'd like to tell you that 2 of my playlists, the name of my channel is Lex Concilium Foundation. That's the name of my company. You see the logo here. That's a charitable Section 8 company, non-profit making. Now, 2 playlists that I'd like to talk to you about. One is relating to students. You'll find playlists having about more than 40 lectures on military law. There are also on international humanitarian law. Apart from that, there is one playlist devoted exclusively to LLM and post-LLM students who want to take up law teaching as a career. And that is called Nurturing Smart Teachers, what the Americans call train the trainers. Because once you do LLM and if you come to law college, having cleared the UG end, you may be assigned any subject to teach at a 5 or a 3-year law degree course. That may have been your favorite comfort subject, may not have been. Now, how should that subject be taught? I picked up one of the best classroom teachers from India, and they teach as to how should you teach, say, for example, law of tort, criminal law, and so on.
Before you go on, sir, because I know where this trajectory is headed to, and in the era wherein it is even different.
No, you are the pilot. You will control the trajectory. Yeah, go ahead.
No, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to take a back seat today. So generally, the interview is more like a back and forth, but I am also enjoying listening. I was just saying that in an era wherein it's even difficult to sort of remember my course manual, the way you were reciting everything and in the right order, because I obviously needed the help of a background book to sort of look at it and then read out, because I would not remember the journey as in so much. But that just shows as to how exactly you've lived onto the journey, and the fact that you're still doing a lot of things even. And I'd say you're pretty young for this. The thing that you've gotten into podcasts and everything as well is quite amazing, and it's quite a competition, to be honest. To be fair enough, I think it's pretty amazing, the kind of work that you're doing. So congratulations for that.
Yeah.
But sir, just to understand it more, so like basically your career was more military focused, right? Whether it's with respect to the war or
yes, it was military focused.
But then why this transition to law?
Because I served for military for 39 years, apart from 4 years of training, and that was fabulous because it made me what I am today. The military service gives you the opportunity of punctuality, discipline, obedience, independence, leadership. So therefore, what I am today, perhaps I would not have been in this board had it not been for the National Defense Academy and the subsequent years. But thereafter, let me tell you that once I went to school, that was a big change because I impressed upon my faculty and also to myself. I used to teach, I used to tell them every day that remember, we are here because of the students and not other way around.
Right.
And I was a director of the entire university, maybe very common even outside, that I always I gave access to the student. A student could walk into my office any time if I was in the university. So that gave a bonding. And I found at this stage, Nishank, permit me, give me a minute, that the biggest challenge today before India is to upgrade its law professionals to the global standard. We have done extremely well, say, in space sciences, in management, in trade, industry, production, political leadership or strategy, whatever. Where we need to come up is that our law professionals should be of the world standard. And for that, the start has to be made in a law college. And by start, what is lacking presently, which needs to be given attention to, that our teaching should be totally clinical. Law degree is a professional degree, and therefore the student should be trained, should be groomed, should be taught to hit the ground running. When you come out of a law school after 5 years, the transition should not say take more than 15 days. Now that's only possible if during this 5 years, as early as possible, you have decided what you want to do, and accordingly you have aligned your internship.
Absolutely.
More, it will come out as Nishank puts questions.
Right, sir. But I get the point wherein, we'll actually also delve into the fact that how the legal education has to be transformed. You've done quite a number of books actually you've published, and you've done quite some work around Palki Wala. I also have one of the edition of your copies, and some of them are even there in the library. So we'll delve into that as well. But sir, why this transition? Why specifically? Why did you choose the legal field? You could have gone into any other field, but why the legal field per se?
Legal field was a decision because, I was in artillery for first 12 years. It so happened that because of the stringent medical parameters that are there in military service, for a time, I came down from that acceptable medical standard. Now, therefore, I could not have continued with distinction in artillery. By that, I mean my eligibility to prepare for the long gun course or for the Defense Services Staff College, etc. That was sort of impeded. So I had to quickly decide, as I was a permanent commission regular officer, to shift elsewhere where I was acceptable and that medical disability for the short time would not affect my career. And I found that this was the law domain. So I came to law domain, and it gave me also an advantage because I had been commissioned in army. I became a second lieutenant at the age of 19 plus. Now that was something great in my favor, because when I came from artillery to JAG, the big advantage to me was that I was not a bookish lawyer. Otherwise, the students who come, they have a law degree, but they have really no experience of practicing law, and they have no experience of military. So one criticism that is usually hurled at them is that they are academic or they are bookish. Whereas I had been for 12 years at the receiving end. I knew what is discipline, what is the implication of law in military. So that's why I chose military.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Before we sort of delve into, I think as a just a viewer who's also, while I'm interviewing, I'm also looking at you and hearing whatever you're saying. I think every viewer that watches it, we have a that sense of sort of respect also for the military. And if I recall it correctly, Captain R. Subramaniam puts it, very briefly, that you've never lived until you've almost died. And for those who chose to fight, life has a special flavor, and the protected shall never know. So I think for that, I think there is a huge
Yes.
sense of respect that goes out from anyone who watches it. But the military part, we sort of move on to that and focus on the law part, because you're still doing a lot of work, right? The Lex Consolium Foundation is there. And allow me to just share my screen to just demonstrate some of your works that are going on. We'll just take 2-5 minutes. I hope it does not get
Go
copyrighted,
ahead. Go
because
ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Go
you can
ahead.
put a copyright on my thing
Go ahead.
because of playing your video, but I am sure that won't happen. I'll
Yes. All
just
yours.
look into this. Just a minute, sir. I will. Yeah. Now, yeah, there it is. There it is. Getting the hang of this. Share. Yeah, I hope you can see my screen, sir. I hope it is visible to you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you can see, for everyone who is
Yeah.
watching, this is sort
Let
of
me
the.
let me just tell you.
Yeah.
This is
Please,
showing
please.
my playlist Going Strong.
Okay.
Now, Going Strong, I interview people. It so happened that so far, all 12 that I have interviewed are all very eminent people who are past 80 in age,
Absolutely.
and they are still doing something great for the society, community, or
Right.
humanity. On top, you find Professor Upendra Bakshi, needs no introduction. Below him
Absolutely.
is Lalit Mansingh, who was India's foreign secretary
Right.
during Atalji's time, and also ambassador to US. He's there. So you see
Yeah.
them all.
Right. This is by the way, sir's channel. So you would see Fali S.
You
Nariman as
see,
well. So
yes.
you only should, I think you should go and talk about I think you can talk a little bit about Going Strong, and then we'll sort of brief people about the other things that you're doing here.
Who are past 80.
Yeah.
They have been interviewed, and
Right.
this includes, apart from, I told you,
Yeah.
Professor Upendra Bakshi, Lalit Mansingh, Mr. Fali Nariman,
Right.
Mr. Prakash Singh, DG
Right.
Police of Police Reforms, then Mohsena Kidwai, Commodore
Absolutely.
Ranjit Rai is there, and there.
By far and
Sculptor. Yeah.
arguably the biggest names in the country, especially when you're talking about Fali S. Nariman or Professor Upendra Bakshi. I personally have grown up doing his readings and his learnings. They're even a part of my syllabus right now as well. So that's it feels really amazing. And to be very honest, I think the views sort of do not justify the kind of work you're doing, and that is why we are here, because we'll try and get the mass into it. But definitely, if someone wants to, there's a lot of inspirational stuff that is shared here, especially about their journey. I hear even Professor Upendra Bakshi in one of his videos talks about how exactly, why he's still going strong, as one would say, at this age. But then there is a lot of good commentary also available when if you want to check out Fali S. Nariman
Yes.
sir's commentary on the legal scenario
Videos.
around India.
Yes. Yes.
That is pretty amazing. And obviously there is one constant factor which is a super hit, that is sir itself. Nilendra Kumar sir is constantly appearing in all these videos. I see a lot of them as are upcoming as well, sir. So a lot of the videos are
Yeah.
scheduled as
Now,
well.
those are the videos about nurturing smart teachers. Now,
Right.
nurturing smart teachers, say, for example, I told you that it is meant for LLM and aspiring law teachers. So you
Right.
will find, for example, you see Jail Call, who speaks about public international law, Sweetie Chauhan, the money laundering law. S.C. Srivastava is the best name in labor law,
Absolutely.
administrative law, S.K. Gaur,
Right.
or cyber crimes, it is Pavan Duggal. Cyber law is Tabrez Ahmed, Vice Chancellor. Then Avinash Dadeech on competition law. Interpretation of statutes is B.T. Call, S.C. Rana on law of evidence. Malbika Paul, she spoke for Satish Jain on law and economics. Tahir Mahmood on family law. And
Right.
this list goes on.
Absolutely.
Anupam Jha on law of treaties, and so on.
So just to comment, I think you have an eidetic memory, the way you've been taking names. And in fact, I was also checking it out. I mean, it is a little difficult to process at the same time. But also, apart from this, sir also has careers in law, right? Sir, going strong has been
Yes,
covered. This has been covered.
yeah,
More about careers in law. What exactly is
yeah.
that?
Thanks. Thank Nishank. That is something very dear to my heart. I told you earlier that decide early, and I give example of Sachin. Sachin, by the age of 8, had decided he would play cricket and be a batsman. So in law, earlier you decide, and the time is the first semester, what you want to do, whether you want to be a judge, whether you to practice law, whether you want to teach law, whether you would serve in a law firm or a corporate law, be an in-house counsel, or
Yes.
you will take the route of civil services. You got to decide. Why it is important early to decide is because your internship, where you learn how to practice, how to apply that law, is very, very important.
Absolutely.
And say, for example, if you want to be a law teacher or you want to practice constitutional court or trial court, the path, the way is different. And therefore, I also started and brought in this series, Careers in Law, so that students, they know what are the options. And
Right.
this is very true for the first generation lawyers.
Right.
Very often they are confused as to what they would like to do.
Yeah.
And therefore, I tell them that, look, if you want to be, say, for example, become a public prosecutor, or
Right.
you want to be a trial court lawyer, a
Right.
constitutional lawyer, you want to go into child rights or child abuse, or
Right.
a judge advocate general,
Right.
want to be an insurance lawyer. So about all this guidance, you will find videos on careers in law. They are
Right.
freely available on YouTube.
Right. Absolutely, sir. I've checked out quite a few number of videos. As for the law students, I think they also try and explore a little bit, because sort of they also want to get to know about. I mean, while I understand that choosing it initially helps them up, but at the same time they would also want to get to know what exactly is intellectual property law, and we'll even delve into the part like, for example, what is intellectual property law, taxation, and then different things, and then probably make that choice. But even before we delve into this, sir, I think the fact that the way legal education should be approached, you've shared quite a number of insights in that, and that is something that our viewers might be interested in, because the way we are teaching, like you said, it's very bookish in the sense that I might get to know what company law is, or I might get to know what CPC looks like, but I can't draft a single petition. So that's the difference between the physical aspect and the practical aspect of things, and then the just the theoretical aspect of it. How do you think with respect to
My
the
advice, yes,
yeah
I'll take on, Nishank.
yeah
You very well brought out what I feel about it. My advice to all law students, you, my friends, is that each and every subject that you study, right on the first day, you should question the faculty as to why should I study law of tort or law of contract. Okay. Now, so that will give you clarity as to what is the utility of this subject for the professional degree of that 5 years or 3 years journey. That's number one. Secondly, you must make it a point that at the end of that semester or trimester, whether it's a 3 credit, 4 credit, whatever, you should know something about application. And I will use the word skill. For
right
example, if you have studied the law of contract, at least a simple contract of giving an job for preparing say, a contract to caterer, you should know how to do that. Now,
right
this is something very, very important. Uh, Together with this, I will take it here that very often we have moots in law schools.
yeah yeah
But
yeah
I would advise that apart from moots, you should also have mock trials.
yeah
Say, for example, how to apply, what is the application of law of evidence? How
right
should examination, cross-examination, re-examination take place? How the
right
evidence of a child witness to be taken? How is the primary evidence to be given if a document is not available, secondary,
Right.
and expert evidence, etc.
Right. The
Now,
practical
therefore,
parts of it.
yes, my book, Clinical Legal Education,
Okay.
will give you an idea. I found that there was no book till I wrote it for the 914 batch of Amity Law School. There was
Right.
none in the market to give an idea as to what is clinical legal education. So
Right.
I would
Right.
advise, see that. Secondly, I would very quickly like to tell you that I'm fascinated. My role model is Palkhiwala. And I think
Absolutely.
all law students, their
A courtroom genius
role
is,
model should be Palkhiwala,
yeah.
who had everything against him. He was from a very lower middle class, he used to stammer. He could not hold a pen. He had tremors in his hand. All his exams, he was given a writer. So that person who rose to the dizzying heights of legal profession, and for his advocacy, say in Keshwanand Bharti, Justice Khanna has written that a lawyer, his competence as a lawyer has seldom been equal and never surpassed in the history of Supreme Court.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So read this book, Nani Palkhiwala Role Model,
Right.
where I chose the best living people who had seen Palkhiwala. They commented.
So if
on
you could
his
hold the book a
advocacy.
little bit
Yes.
higher, because they'll get it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Now in
Perfect.
5th edition, see this. Now here I'd like to also tell you that every year Lex Consilium Foundation holds a quiz on constitutional law, where
Right.
students from 3 years, 5 years law degree participate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is perhaps the best and the most competitive quiz in constitutional law, always held on the first Sunday of February every year.
Right.
And then that led me to bring out a book on constitutional law. The book has been done by Upendra Bakshi, the lead article by Justice Madan Lokur. And this book has 10 articles. So this is a read and listen book where it is audio as well as a normal book that can be read. This is meant for the law students' objective type questions on law.
Right.
Because I don't believe in just 5 questions in a 3-hour question paper. Your knowledge should be wide in that subject.
Absolutely.
So I would advise you people, take part in the Palkhiwala quiz, first Sunday of February. Coming back, please organize seminars, conferences to bring out the application and practice part of the law.
Right.
So that you hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
My notion of empowerment is that a person is empowered when he becomes financially independent. So sooner after your law school, you become financially independent, you are empowered.
Right.
Next.
Absolutely.
Next, Nishank.
Absolutely. No, sir. And in fact, I think that's one way to go about it. The reading surrounding this also sort of help you, and the practical skills, the way these people put out things is, and especially Palkhiwala's life, I think it's like I said, a courtroom genius. And your words very well summed it up, wherein you talked about Justice Khanna's remark on the same. Sir, but quickly, if you were to look at this, so because you've been in different positions, you've also been the director of Amity Law School, Noida, right? And I mean, while it might not hold out true to be for every university to say so, but I think you sort of see the system within from the purview of the administration for a university. How exactly is that sort of messed up, and how is that something that one can look into, whether it's with respect to the professors or the with respect to the sort of education that is imparted within the university itself?
Yeah, I'll very quickly tell you. Firstly, thank you. Asked a very pertinent question. You see, you would get from the faculty and from the law college what you desire or what you are keen to get, and therefore this sort of an initiative which Nishank has taken needs to be appreciated and fully supported. Now, I'll advise you students that please firstly try and get a clinical knowledge of that subject, including for non-law subjects. For example, in 5 years, you have economics, you have sociology, political science. So question this, that why should I study political science for a law program?
Right.
You ask this, you will get the answer from the faculty. If not that day, maybe the following day, succeeding day. That's one. Try and learn how to apply that subject. Say, for example, I'll give few instances. While in the Amity Law School, I used to organize camps for writing will, execution of will, Wasiyatnama. Because in Noida, there are large number of people who are senior citizens and they want to write down. I said, you come to my law school and you will get that advice. And then we met the sub-registrar. He says, we will open the office on a Saturday or a Sunday. All these people, we will actually register their will in case they want to. Or we had our own radio, a medium wave, short range radio. So we used to, our students and our faculty used to talk about community lawyering. Say, for example, you have Sonipat. Now in Sonipat, whatever are the problems, whether they relate to agriculture, they relate to child labor, they relate to domestic violence. So speak on that.
Right. Fair enough.
Now that gives you, that gives you an opportunity to speak. You invite problems from the viewers, and it is sort of under the watchful eye of a faculty or a practitioner.
Absolutely.
Do mock trial from the moods.
Okay.
And likewise, you will do that.
Absolutely. No. Absolutely, sir. I think there are a lot of good suggestions that are well taken. I would like to thank all the students also for asking so many questions, putting it forward in front of sir, because personally, I think I just did this interview for mostly law students. I've already, talked to sir about all these things multiple times. So it was also, and it sort of refreshed my memory on the same. But thank you to all the students who sort of invested their time also into asking so many questions. And I think all the answers and my key takeaways would sort of also reflect, like sir said, whether it's with respect to the mock trials, understanding things clinically, or reading books surrounding it, and more importantly focusing on the practical aspects of it. There is a lot that you need to do in terms of skill and not just mere education on the paper. I think that is what also Lex Consolium Foundation is trying to do, whether it's with respect to the series on training the teachers and going strong and bringing in all these amazing people. Some of the work that you're doing is clearly sir, surpassing all heights, and I wish you all the best for this kind of work even in the future. And I hope like people continue to enjoy. Thank you so much for joining the show today.
It's wonderful speaking to you, and through you to a bigger number of students. My best wishes, and I enjoyed every second of this interview. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.